8:30 a.m. EST, and we are now starting the free to the public Algo Factory beginner session. So this is a session where anybody can come on, whether you are a private member or you are a public person, and you can ask us questions and see if we can help you out. What we do at Algo Factory is we help people become traders. Okay, so we help them. Oh, this is the wrong channel. Hold on, I got to rebroadcast. Give me a second. Anyway, for all of you out at YouTube, what we do is we help people become traders. We help them either if they're not a trader yet, then we help them become traders. And if you're already a trader, we help you develop a trading plan. And we kind of lead down the path of helping you become, let's just say, eligible, if you will, or helping you develop your trading skills to a point where you can produce an auto trader, right? You can pay somebody to code your algorithm so that you can, step away a little bit. Although a lot of people have this idea that, of course, oh, well, if I can have a computer trade for me and I can just turn it on and walk away. And it's actually not true. There is some tuning that goes on with that. And if you were to go ahead and just turn it on and walk away, you might end up losing some money. The gorilla is going to join us in a bit. He's on a call that something that both of us are dealing with. That's a good thing. So we're going to let him be on that call. It's a quiet Monday in the markets, so I'm going to jump into the content here. I'm going to put the QR code on the screen just for a few moments, but I'm going to jump into the content here, and we're going to take a look at the week in trading. So let me bring up the screen, and it's already zoomed in. That's beautiful. It's like I say, it's a quiet Monday. There's not a lot as announcements go, as economic data goes. It's the end of the month and it's the end of the quarter. So the next few days are likely to be pretty quiet. And August is actually, it's not the end of the quarter. That's a lie. That's the end. That's September. But August is a very quiet month as it is. A lot of people are on vacation. Although we are kind of nearing that point where school will be back in session. Of course, that means that, parents, if you will, are going to be home and trading and all that. But again, I'll flash that QR code once more on the screen. So before we get too far into content, just zap that QR code or go to the website. It's right there on the screen, www.algofactory.tech. I'll also type that into the chat. And if you want to, find us, find out more about what we do, just hop over there and we'll go ahead and take a look at what the week may look like here. Okay, so there it is in the comment section as well. And so today, Monday, August 20th, not a whole lot going on as economic data goes. We do have some traders who are able to take advantage of economic data when they trade. I personally am very, very cautious with that. I at least wait until the economic data has been released, and then I might look for some opportunities to trade. Maybe, you might see I don't know, but price move in one direction and then it might do some crazy swings over a good 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long it goes. And then price sort of reverts. It might revert to where it was going before. Now, if it is a different kind of data, then, if that's the case, then it might be strong enough to push price in a different direction. Or it might be, if you watch the high level charts, it might be price was ready to reverse already. And it might be that price was actually going in quote unquote the wrong direction. Let's just say if you looked at the charts on the high time frame, price is supposed to be bullish, but for some reason it just is bearish right now. And why is that? So just had to send a quick note to Moron, who is putting an article in our private group, and I'm not sure how it relates to trading in markets. So in our private group, but we do have a private group where people might ask some questions that you don't see on YouTube. And that's fine. We're going to answer those as well. In fact, those are the priority. So if you have questions about this show, you want me to do like a chart or something, I can, anybody in the private group over in Telegram will have priority on those questions. But if you happen to be watching and you're not a member of our private group, you can ask questions. I can do a chart for you or discuss something that's, especially if it's a beginner type question. that would be just fine in YouTube, even if you're not a member. So at any rate, on Tuesday, we do have some data coming out if you're, say, in the US, it's, and if you're in Europe, it's going to be in the morning. If you're in the US, it's going to be the middle of the night, depending on what part of the country, the US, you're in. But we have RBA, that's the Royal Bank of Australia. Governor, excuse me, can't talk. Governor designate Bullock speaks. So, and that's going to happen at about almost 4 a.m. So 3:40 a.m. EST in the U.S. And the Aussie dollar will see some volatility there. That's, I believe, the governor designate is going to be similar to our Fed chair. Okay, so I think that's like their Jerome Powell speaking. And Australia and the Aussie dollar is one of the 8 majors when it comes to the major pairs. It's in the 8 majors. It's an important currency in the world, so it might provide some volatility for those who do trade news to take advantage of that. Give me just a moment. I need to do one thing that'll take about 3 seconds. Step away from the mic here. Okay, so the next thing is tomorrow morning in the U.S. at about 10 a.m. is consumer confidence. So anybody who is day trading tomorrow morning might want to pay attention to that. We got Jay Martin, word up. What is up? Good to have you in there. Of course, Valentine, our faithful Valentine and Jay are in our YouTube every day. We love it. And I believe they're both in our private group as well. Moron. This guy calls himself Moron. I'm not just calling names. He went ahead and said that he posted an article where Biden's going to fund the shot again. Now, Moron does go ahead and give some of his own opinion on the shot, and we're fine with that. But let's remember that Algo Factory is for everybody, right? So we're not going to try and put too many opinions in there. We just want to talk about things that relate to the market. Okay. And as relates to the market, if Biden is going to fund a new jibby jab, if you will, a new shot, then that might be a good place to look to go long on pharma. Because, and here's the thing about it, I'm going to tell you something. If we look at the pharma charts, we might find that the price has already started to go up because people already knew that was going to happen. And I'm going to provide a resource today on this very show that might give us some clues as to what's going to happen in markets in the future. And it's going to be something I've provided before, but it's something we forget about pretty often. But before we do that, I do have the distinct smell of fermented bananas in my nose. Why is that? Why do I smell
that? Is me. That is me.
Oh!
I had my morning banana daiquiri. It was amazing. That's probably that smell that you smell. And in terms of the experimental jabs, I've already signed on for one.
Okay.
It's not COVID though. It's rabies.
Oh, rabies jabs. Okay. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Moron has a pretty good signal for possibly going long on pharma. We do try to keep the political opinions a little not to ourselves, but we try to make room in Algo Factory for people who have different ideas. So we're not going to try to put too many things down or put too many things up either. We're not going to be supporting things that we don't support. We're not going to be putting down things that, whatever. However, if you are looking to long pharma, we'll look at the charts and see what that says. But I'm going to see if we can find the possibility that people knew that was coming and certain people who would know. And we're going to see if we can use a particular resource to figure that out today that tells the future of the stock market, believe it or not. All right. Did you see my most recent text there, V?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
No, not that text. That I sent you this morning. Text on your phone.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you got that data?
Yeah, I got that. I'll know more about that. I have a call with them at like 1:00 today.
Not a problem. I'm just trying to find out if we know yet. That's all.
They're just testing out a few things. They're doing some last minute bug tests. So it could theoretically happen today or tomorrow, but definitely this week.
Okay.
I'll tell you more about it later.
Yeah, no worries. I was trying to figure out if there was knowledge or not. We got something brewing in the background, everybody. So we always got something. Look, Algo Factory and I don't want to shill too much. I want to stay with talking about the data here in the markets. I don't want to bore all the YouTube people with more and more commercials, but we got things brewing. Okay, so we got Algo Factory is in its infancy. We have new features all ready to go. We just have to depend on our web developers to actually put them on the website. So new stuff's already ready to go. But let me see here. So back to the news. But before I go to the news, Gorilla, did you have anything for us now that you're able to, join us?
No, not at the
No.
moment.
All right, cool.
I apologize.
But yeah, Moron had posted about this funding of the new jab, and that might be a place to look for some longs to make some money
Absolutely.
on what do you call it? On like say Pfizer or Moderna, one of those companies. Look, I'm a mercenary. Like there are very few things I won't invest in. If I knew like some company was involved in, I don't know, something that's hurting, I don't know, child trafficking or whatever, like some terrorist coming, I'm not gonna deal with that. But you know what? If I can make money on Pfizer, they're making money off us. Might as well take some back. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, J&J. I don't know. J&J's version was stopped. There were too many issues with that, so I don't know. I don't know about J&J. Maybe they have a new version that's good. Novavax, Moderna, and Pfizer, I think, are the companies to look at. And Novavax and Moderna probably have the most upside, just from a fundamental standpoint. So we'll see about that. We'll look at the charts. We'll look at that today. So thank you, Moron, for putting that up. All right, so we got tomorrow. Again, we started talking about some data coming out at 10 a.m. EST. Both job openings and CB consumer confidence come out tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST. So anybody getting into day trades early has to be very careful, because at 10 a.m., either, if I were in a day trade, I can't tell you all what to do because we don't give investment advice here. We just talk about our opinions. We talk about charts. We talk about what we think is going to happen, but you have to do your own research, right? Go talk to your licensed investment advisor, so on and so forth. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., though, the U.S. market, the U.S. dollar, and anything related to the U.S. dollar, which is everything in the world, might take a turn. Okay. So what might happen there is that depending on the data, if consumer confidence is low and job openings are low, then the dollar is going to get weak. Why? Because the whole good news is bad news dynamic right now, what it means is that Powell is raising rates so that he can slow down inflation, right? And a good economy, a strong economy, is going to naturally want to increase inflation in the current environment. So, with that being the case, if there is strong economic news, if consumer confidence is high, if JOLTS job openings are high, then Powell is probably going to want to raise rates, which is an indication that the dollar will get stronger. Okay, so if these things are low, if the economy looks weak, then it might be that the cutting or the raising of the rates has done its job to a certain degree. At least that's the wisdom, and so prices of things will want to fall. So let's, for example, take a look at the stock market. If you're playing equities, what may happen is that if the consumer confidence and job openings data come out, say CB confidence is high, jobs openings is high, economy looks strong, that means that the wisdom is Powell will want to hike rates, which means stocks in what's the word? In anticipation of a hike, stocks might fall. And the opposite would be true if these data come out weak. Okay, so that's how this works with USD based data. And it's also going to be reflected in all of the major currencies that are part of what we would call, say, the Five Eyes nations, anything that is a British or former British colony. And that includes the Aussie dollar, which at 7:30 p.m., 9:30 EST, I should say, 9:30 p.m. EST tomorrow, the Aussie dollar CPI comes out. And CPI right now, because we just got done talking about inflation, CPI and inflation are the hot ticket. Okay. So if the Aussie dollar inflation number comes out like inflation is high, then the wisdom might be that they're going to hike rates, and the Aussie dollar might, I'm sorry. Yeah. And the Aussie dollar might get stronger. So if you're trading currencies, then you want to be going long on the dollar. I'm sorry, the long on the Aussie dollar in that case. But I personally wouldn't be taking any trades until that data actually is, until it actually comes out. Because this is one thing about news. There are very few traders out there. I know some, but there are very few traders who are really great at trading the news. Okay. It's a dangerous thing to do. And the reason is that, and this is a theory, folks, I don't talk to people at the Fed or whatever, but the large banks in theory are using news events to take people out of their trades. They're using it to manipulate the price, which technically is illegal. but they can't be, it's kind of a thing where it proved that we did it. I mean, when the news comes out, there's a bit of chaos. There's a lot of people wanting to go in, there's a lot of people wanting to come out, and the banks can simply say, hey, we thought this was going to be we thought this was going to happen. So we just put a bunch of money in, and they can make up whatever story they want, if you ask me. And it's just my opinion. Well, Jay, yeah, Warren Buffett, I don't think Warren Buffett's really trading on the 15-minute chart. Like, I think Warren Buffett is more of an investor over a longer period of time. And Warren Buffett, the kind old grandpa, and V can back me up on this, is an absolute shark. Warren Buffett moves markets, even though you're not supposed to move markets. He actually has a lot of influence in markets. So when you have that big of a stick to throw around, you actually can push markets where you want them to go. And Warren Buffett will go ahead, in my opinion, and I'm just saying this as my opinion, because everything we say is just our opinion and nobody else's, is that Warren Buffett has the ability to know the future because he controls the future of certain markets. And so he'll know which way to go on that. V, what do you think of that about my own opinion on Warren Buffett? Does that make sense to you?
That is why he calls himself a Buffett.
Yeah, the Oracle, if you will.
He is a buffet.
He's going to buff your car.
What? Really?
Buffett, but he's got several.
He is French, is he not? Buffet.
Warren Buffet.
Yeah.
I have 16 Rolls Royces in my driveway. You're going to buff it till they shine.
Yes.
Shine. We need Matthew Garrett to make fun of our French accent.
Yeah.
He probably listens to us and he's like, yeah, these guys are terrible. Let's see. So horrible. Wednesday, non-farm employment change. This was the big ticket in like 2017. Non-farm employment change. So and it's still important. And it will push markets. And what I like about Wednesday's data for the US is that these high impact events in the red folders. I'm going to put this website in our chat for those of you on YouTube who want to know where I'm looking at this. You can also get this data on TradingView, which is what we use for our charting. But these red envelopes here, if you will, these are high impact events, and the GDP numbers are coming out. It's quarter over quarter. That's a big number. Preliminary GDP. Okay, so you want to understand that only 4 times a year this data comes out at 6:30, and just before it, 15 minutes before that, is the non-farm employment change. I don't know if that's month over month. Let's see. Automatic. Okay, so this is actually a private version of it, and I think it's a monthly release. So we have monthly data coming out 15 minutes before quarterly data. So that could actually be, it will, I guarantee you, have some kind of influence on markets, whether or not it's just big banks messing around. That's the second to last day of August. Trading does, like I said at the beginning of the show, August is a slow month in general for trading, right? And on top of that, it's the end of the month. And the end of the month, you're going to find that there are a lot of books that need to be balanced, right? You have a lot of traders and a lot of, say, like desks and stuff like that that need to balance their funds. Maybe they're underwater on some trades. And if you are a big enough and important enough, institution, if you will have enough influence to push markets where you need to go, so that by the end of the quarter, you are mitigating losses and or expanding profits and balancing your books properly. So there is a lot of chicanery that happens towards the end of the calendar month, and especially the fiscal year, fiscal quarters. So I don't know. I don't think that's until fiscal quarter, I think, is for most companies, I believe, the annual. The regular quarterly calendar, but fiscal year is a little different sometimes. That's one thing I never quite got my finger on, is fiscal year. So that's that. That's 6:30 a.m. We have core PCE index, which is important. Unemployment claims, another. That's a weekly. Unemployment claims is week over week, I believe. But the PCE index is a monthly. So 6:30 a.m. again. Wednesday and Thursday, both data early in the morning, if you will, an hour before the market opens. I like that. That's going to kind of add some volatility to the day. That's a really, in my opinion, that's a way to supercharge some trading. But I personally wait until that data has come out. And again, on Friday, it's the same thing. We have the Canadian GDP number monthly at the same time, which is 8:30 a.m. EST. And then we have the more employment data. We have the unemployment rate, non-farm employment change, which is the public one, not the ADP, because there's 2 different measures. And then you have the hourly earnings, and that's all 6:30 a.m. So towards the end of the week, we have some pretty good data coming out. And then we have the PMI. So this is an important, we're going to talk a little more about this. I know Vela's actually covered this a couple weeks ago. I want to get a little more granular on PMI. I had a really good chart that we shared on the Rogue Show on Thursday on PMI. We're just going to talk a little bit more about that, but it's actually a leading indicator. It's a really it's an important measure. It's a more up to the minute indicator of kind of what's happening in the economy, and that data comes out at 8 a.m. on Friday. So another kind of scenario where you have a high impact event that's maybe an hour and a half after market open that can cause havoc on short-term trades. So we have to be careful if we're day trading on Friday. Muy cuidado, as Jay said earlier. Jay Martin over in the comments said chat GPT question mark. So what are you asking on that? I think I might have missed whatever I was.
Is OpenAI going public? Maybe?
I know, yeah,
that would be happening?
I don't know what you're.
I know they're talking about that. I don't know if that's going to be happening.
Let's see
immediately.
Let's take a look.
Something's changed.
Open AI going public question mark. And Jay, I believe, is still with us. Oh, he says, I wonder. So I'm thinking maybe OpenAI IPO. OpenAI is privately held company, not traded NASDAQ. To buy pre-IPO shares of private company. Okay, so it looks like there might be. This is old though. This is February. Stock of Microsoft. Okay, Stock Lab Microsoft might be a good purchase if you. Okay, so that Microsoft right now is like maybe your I don't know, OpenAI exposure. I don't know enough about OpenAI to think about where I would invest in it. Impact ChatGPT. Can you invest in OpenAI? Okay, short answer is no. Microsoft did announce $10 billion investment. Okay, so it might be Microsoft is the way. NVIDIA, I mean, they're just killing the market right now. I'm killing it in a good way. I don't know that I would touch NVIDIA just because it's so skyrocketing. I don't like to buy things when they're high. But you got Baidu and Alphabet Inc. No, those are other stuff. Okay, so NVIDIA, Baidu, Alphabet Inc. are possibly companies to look at for getting exposure to their possible competition for ChatGPT. I'm not seeing, as a result, people have to like OpenAI through the company. There are other ways to invest in AI. Okay, no real clear answer on that. So Jay Martin seems to think, okay, Jay, I don't have any idea. I mean, there's no place that we can right now invest in OpenAI. So I don't, I'm not versed on it. I have to do research. In fact, Jay, since you seem to be pretty interested, you could do some research and find out if there is any exposure to OpenAI through another company. I think we just read that Microsoft did some pretty substantial investment. Server farm in Quincy, Washington. I have no idea, Jay. I didn't know there was a server farm in Quincy, Washington. So that's I'm unaware of any of that stuff, Jay. Be an interesting thing for us to look into at some point. I did say, and I did promise that we would take a look, and I've showed everybody this before. Okay, so I'm going to go back and show this again. If you want to know the future to a degree, or at least a probable or quite possible future of the stock market, take a look at where the Congress people are investing. And that's pretty simple. Congress people push policy. Okay. And when you push policy, you know the future because you know where the government basically is going to invest or where the government is going to make things easier for others to invest. And if you look at the trades that are going on right now, you can see where the Congress people are investing. And they do know the future because they push policy. So I'm going to put this website in the chat real quick. It's called capitaltrades.com. And if you go there, you can take a look at where they're investing. Here's the latest trades.
Well, Cowboy, look, just like Nancy Pelosi said, we have to first pass the bill to know what's inside of it.
Of course.
Have you ever thought about maybe our congressmen and women are trading on our behalf to make sure that it's safe for us? Have you ever thought about that, Cowboy?
Yeah, no, it's their trading is to help us. They care about us.
They have to trade the stock first to make sure it's okay. Just like they have to pass the bill first before they can read it.
Yep, that's a fact. Yep.
It makes perfect sense to me.
It does. In fact, they if they invest before they know anything about it, then they're basically not doing any research. So is it that they just have some magic way of knowing what's going to go up? Is that what it is?
Well, if it goes up, then they're just letting us know that it's a good investment because they're all experts, man.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is what Pelosi is doing, and you got Apple Inc. She bought. Let me see here. Exercised 50 call options, purchased 524. Okay, so she exercised her call options, meaning that she had basically bet on price going up back in May, and she went ahead and took profit. So Nancy must think, or really her husband, must think that it's time to sell Apple as of, let's see, the 15th of June. Okay, that's a little old. But let me see here. Here we have the same thing on Microsoft. So basically, the late June, early July, she's getting rid of her big tech stocks. 50 call options, which is 5,000 shares at a strike price of 180. So 180 by 5,000, that's nearly 80,000 basically, or I should say almost exactly 5,000 by 180. Is that 800,000? Let's take a look. Because options, of course, you get to augment your position size here. But 180 times 5,000, that's $1 million worth of of basically Microsoft stock, right? So depending on what the leverage is with an option, I'm not exactly sure offhand. I don't play options too often. I did for a while, but long story short, that's basically selling $1 million worth of Microsoft stock, but it's in the form of options, right? So it's essentially a derivative. And here you're looking at about the same amount in Apple. So basically tech was going bad 23 June, not going bad, but tech was about to go bearish and they must have sold the top. Well, let's take a look at Microsoft, and then we have about 1 minute to do this, but we'll take a look at Microsoft and what is it, Apple on in June, and they bought it in May and they sold it in June. So let's look at Microsoft. And we'll look at, what is this, the 3 hour? That's good. Now we'll go to the daily. So if I remember correctly, they went ahead and bought these options in late May, and they sold in late June. So late May, 24th, I believe it was, and then June 23rd, I think they sold. Well, that's a healthy bit of profit right there. They bought. Look at that. Look at the dip they bought. If they did buy on that actual day, look at that nice dip. So and if they're in the money or not, I mean, they're call options. That means that they bet on the price going up. So 314 to 334. I mean, that's when you have $1 million worth of that. I mean, that's let me see, 300 into $1 million goes 30,000 times. That's a healthy profit, man. That's if my math is right, 30,000 by excuse me. Let me see, 315 to 330. I don't know what they made on that, 80, 60,000. I don't know, some big number. Let me see. We got J. Oh no, sorry. We want to look at Apple, see if we saw the same thing. So late May, around say here, to late June, say around there. Yeah, nice trade, Nancy. She must be a trading genius. Nancy must really know those markets. So we got Jay saying ChatGPT is terrible at writing Pine script. It's just a massive buggy problems. They're getting sued for copyright as the system ingests other people's content and uses it in its output. Yeah, well, that's its design. Jay Coolcast is looking to AGIX. Is that a crypto, I think? Or is that a stock? We'll do that before we flip over to the the private here. AGIX. I'm going to assume that Cool Cat's talking about a crypto here. I don't see much to look at. It's just diving down and finding support. Doesn't look very exciting to me. Not in the macro. That's not a pretty chart. It just looks like it's going to continue, and I mean, it's popping up a little bit in the short term, but it looks like a bear market rally. That's what that looks like to me. I'm not terribly excited about any crypto. Uh, you do have your random cryptos that'll kind of go up, but look, there's some very good old school traders that what they do is they only buy stocks when the market is going up, and I treat crypto the same way. I'm only going to buy crypto when the rest of the market is going up. When the entire market is compressing in crypto, I really don't care what's going on with any crypto. I'm just not interested in it. Sure, you have your kind of random crypto like Rune or whatever it is that's really doing well, but I have far more opportunities in forex, and I'd rather spend my time in a market that is actually not necessarily going down, or if it's going down, I can take advantage of that. So with crypto, given that I had access to what do you call it, derivatives, I might look for opportunities to short crypto, but the entire crypto market's going down. So I'm not going to, just sit there and look for that one crypto that's going up. It's just not, I fish I fish in the fishing pool, the fishing hole where the fish are, right? And when the entire crypto market is compressing, that is not a time for me to buy spot crypto. So, kind of spending all time filtering through all the cryptos to find that one crypto that's going up is not a good use of my time. It might be somebody who's really good at that, like Cool Cat, that might make sense. So, I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying for my own trading style. But being as it is, we are at the end of the public. So I'm going to flash the QR code up there. We're going to move over to the private. And oh, okay, I see what Cool Cat's saying. He's trying to add to the AI convo. So what Cool Cat is saying is that AGIX, AGIX, is an AI crypto, and everything AI has been just doing really well. So I don't expect that to change. It might be that AI takes a break. Everything does have to retrace at some point, but everything tech is doing well anyway. It's the only place in the stock market that seems to be consistently doing well in the recent weeks, if you will. Seems to be outperforming, and it seems to be leading the market because tech started to fall before everything else. But anyway, we're going to move over. Gorilla, can you give us that send off?
Yes. Thank all of you guys for listening in. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow at the same time. But don't hesitate. Join us in the private room and help us, and we'll show you how we are able to help you develop the strategies and the skills to pay the bills and get you your best life now. With that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.